Oh, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation. Happy Pride Month, and welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for Puppy of Interest 42, I know you're very excited because I hummed the introductory song, and that means that it's time for Stream. She's trained to say hello to you now, regardless of if I'm done with the introduction or not. You are breaking protocols, you sweetie pumpkin. Yes, that is the inside of my mouth. But I can't stay mad at you because you are adorable. Say hello to Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie, so she can be very excited to talk to you now. If you saw today's short, then you are legally required to leave a comment on that short, yelling at our editor, Synthetic Alien, for getting the name of the puppy wrong. This is Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie, without an E at the end, and a heart over the I, if you have the ability to leave one in the text. So Charlie with an E, that's not you, sweetie pumpkin. And Synth deserves the wrath of the Site 42 staff for this sin. Shame. Shame. So here is Puppy of Interest 42. Here is a treat from you to the chat. No, from you to the puppy. You chat to you puppy. And now, may I get back to my introduction, please? You're too excited. You're getting too much love from the chat. Also, apparently couldn't make it a minute into the stream without the audio desyncing. Thank you, Daddy YouTube. I would very much appreciate it if you can figure out what the hell is going on with our audio. Now, where 'twas I. Ah, yes. Happy Pride and welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for over a year and 2 months and counting, because that's right, the daily stream streak remains strong. I'm here to open my office doors to you, the SCP Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom. Either way, we are here for the next 2 to 3 hours. That is my plan anyways. Now, if the parasitic parasitic centipede that is currently living inside of my shoulder, Brian, starts to get too angry at me, then I might have to cut off early, but we will do our best. Maybe I'll do some standing stream moments. We will do what we can, Brian notwithstanding. In the midst of Brian news, by the way, Brian has moved on from all of your song recommendations. Reminder, Brian has a psychic link to my brain as a parasite. We were walking by the break room, and someone was watching the classic Jim Carrey comedy, The Mask. As you can imagine, there's a whole lot of swing music and Cuban Pete on repeat in my ears right now. It is very distracting. But I'm doing my best to be a professional about it and to answer your questions about the SCP Foundation regardless. Reminder, all donations as well as general Q&A will come after the general stream subject. So, let us begin with the housekeeping. Amber, congratulations on being the #1 most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team, i.e., congratulations on being first chatter. Alongside you, Legendary Doge, Attracted to 682, Rune, Creepypasta George Harrison, Puppet Boy, Alki, Dean Cass, Froy, Sleepless Dragon, everybody who I have just named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here as members of Site 42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Furthermore, interns, Griffith, Javaname, Opal, Oram, Malachi, Jeppy, Hotel California, Risker, Mousy, Kelmsford Invictus, Light Steve, Hi, Go to Bed, Rain, Site 96, Madison, Jessica Jones, Bread, and Nuisance. Welcome to today's stream. Thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today just for being you. Now, a reminder, today's stream is sponsored by our friends at SCP Containment Breach, the movie. SCP Containment Breach, the movie, from friends of the channel Keter Labs, are currently working on kickstarting an entire GALRAM SCP Foundation movie to be put into theaters. Unfortunately, with 6 days to go, we are nowhere near even their first goal, let alone the stretch goals of getting a full movie made. And so we need more hype. Part of what I'm going to be doing today is trying to deliver the more hype. But I can't do it alone. And so Site 42 staff reminder, even a single dollar donation will help. Even a single dollar donation from enough people will get the job done. Reminder, Site 42 has over 1 million subscribers. They are asking for $1 million as the maximum stretch goal. And so if every Site 42 subscriber gave $1, we'd be done. So do not think your dollar means nothing. A single dollar could be the answer between us getting this done or not. And once you have donated, make sure to share it everywhere. Everywhere. Like, share, subscribe, comment, chat. Make memes, movie posters, clips and edits, and shit posts. Spread the word, Mobile Task Force Sci 42, codename Signal Boosters. We are running out of time. We are the only hope for this. I haven't seen anybody our size sharing this around. So if we are going to carry the team on our back, this is our moment. Now, SCP Containment Breach the movie, our sponsors, goes directly into our stream subject. These Hollywood studios are pissing me off. I'm the original Dr. Sherman. What's happening here? Well, I was at the gym today, participating in the Foundation Fitness Initiative. The on-site gym, remembers, where we all go to get swole, especially not neglecting leg day, because if you are fleeing containment breaches, the faster you can run, the more likely you are to survive the murderous anomalies coming to get you. You must be strong. You must be able to outrun anomalies that are chasing you to your death. So, while I was at the gym, I got some very good motivation in the form of anger and spite. Because while I was at the game, I was flipping through Twitter during the 1 minute in between set rest, and I saw this particular tweet. What particular tweet? Hollywood studios are searching Reddit for short stories and ideas that can be turned into movies following the success of Backrooms. Are you fucking kidding me? Meanwhile, the SCP Foundation is trying to kickstart an indie film because studios are afraid of the Creative Commons. We have thousands of stories that could be movies, an anthology series, short films, animations. So many great concepts and stories. But they can't own it completely, so they won't touch it. It's a crime. So fuck it. Let's do it ourselves. If Markiplier can, so can we. What do you mean? They're going to two-sentence horror stories. What do you mean? They're going to the creepypasta subreddits. The SCP Foundation is right there! Right there! If Hollywood wants to learn the wrong lesson about the backrooms, if Hollywood wants to learn the wrong lessons and decide to make creepypasta movies, at least show up to my door. Because if you learn the wrong lesson, I'll at least teach you the right one, and we'll make some damn good SCP movies. But what do you mean? They are going through Reddit for short stories. Hollywood, I am here. The SCP Foundation awaits. Open door. Knock. You don't have to knock. The door's open. Son of a bitch. He's gotta be kidding me. Meanwhile, and now chat for the last phase of this little SCP Containment Breach movie stream subject before we get to general Q&A today. Allow me a little bit of a tangent. I've got to send a message to someone. Hello there, Markiplier. You called my buddy Zach an idiot. And you know what? It was perfectly fair because you didn't know what was going on, but you need to know what's going on, my friend Mark. My very distant friend who I've never talked to, but I did do a sponsorship with Cloak Brand one time. This shirt makes me look really good. It makes the Jim Gaines show. So I thank you for that. But that's not what we're here to talk about, Mark. No. You saw a certain video on YouTube. You talked about it on your Power Wash Pals podcast, the 3Ps. The video you saw was called An Open Letter to Markiplier. Now this part here, we're making an SCP movie. That wasn't here before. That wasn't here. It's fair, but this is Zach. Very photogenic fellow right here. You didn't listen to him though. Zach here made this video, ignore that Discord server. Zach here made this video to say that he is starting an SCP Containment Breach movie. A movie based on the hit game SCP Containment Breach movie, which you have a deep history with, my friend. In fact, the SCP Foundation community is very familiar with your contribution to the growth of our community. We're actually very thankful for it. And the Containment Breach movie, they have a 10-minute proof of concept. They made a 10-minute short to try and get this movie off the ground. Mark, buddy, old pal, Booby, Marky Boo. The request was not for you to make an SCP Foundation movie. I understand. That sounds like a crazy entitled ask. I mean, you had just finished Iron Lung. I would be exhausted. I understand. No. This pitch is that they are making the movie, and because you are such a large part of the SCP Containment Breach history, the history of the game SCP Containment Breach, as well as the history of the SCP Foundation fandom, one way or another. Heck, you even helped us out when there was that lawsuit against that Russian trademark troll. You shared it around so that we could sue that guy so SCP wouldn't be lost in the Russian Federation, and we appreciate that as well. No. We just want you to be in the movie, man. We just want you to hang out, have a role, get paid, show up on set, be in the SCP movie in some role of a size of your choosing. Yeah, a little cameo for funsies, maybe be a little bit bigger. Now, I'm not the one making the movie. I am just in cahoots with the team who's making the movie, so I can't guarantee anything. But I can guarantee they want you on board, and I want you on board. And if you want to be on board, there's a red carpet. It is red with the blood of D-Class. I can't help that. We've been trying to clean it all day. But man, end of the day, thank you for listening. These are nice words. I'm not mad at you. I understand. As a fellow content creator, you see a video, it seems presumptive, you don't watch it. Yeah, if they were saying what they said, or what you thought they said, I would have called them idiots too. But they're not idiots. You were just didn't know what was going on. Now you do. Thank you for your time. Hope to see you on the big screen again with us in the SCP Containment Breach movie. Secure, contain, protect. Somebody clip that. We're putting it in shorts. We're putting it in shorts. We're titling it Markiplier Called My Friend an Idiot. And now I have some nice words for him. And we're going to see if we can make Marky Moo pay attention to us. We're going to see if it works. 6 days left on the Kickstarter. This is our shot, people. We're running out of time. I'm pulling out all the stops. Because I'm on board with this movie as a consulting producer. That's for the story. That's for a small role in the movie. But it doesn't happen if this movie doesn't get funded. And so we need so much to share this movie. Brian! Oh my God, you're giving me a migraine in the back of my head now. What am I going to do with this parasitic centipede that's living in my shoulder? And I was just getting used to Cuban Pete. When I shake my maracas, they go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. Intern Nick Shark asks, am I gay? Well, I am asexual, which puts me on the LGBTQIA spectrum. Happy Pride. But if you're asking if I'd be interested in you, no, you're barking up the wrong tree. All right. I want to see a boxing match between Markiplier and Dr. Sherman. Intern Enzo, I am a lover, not a fighter. Now, not in an asexual way. Or in an asexual way, lover. Not like a lover, but I'm a dance teacher. Mark and I can do a sick salsa together. That I would be on board with. I will teach Markiplier to salsa. Especially if he's in the movie, because then we'll be on set together, and I will teach Markiplier how to salsa. My salsa. Listen for my new single, it's called My Salsa. My salsa, 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 my salsa. There is a non-zero chance your author makes that parasite your permanent anomalous trait. 369 Destroyer. Do not give that power-hungry bastard any ideas. Now, Site 42 staff, I am going to catch up on the donations that came in during my stream intro, and then we will have some general Q&A. So, Alki, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have made them a 1-star team to kick this off. Dean Cass, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself some chips and salsa on your way past the commissary. Aurum, thank you for sending 3 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. They are now a 4-star team. Let's see if they can make it to 5 stars. Aurum, thank you for sending a gold coin to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they'll spend the doubloons wisely. You then sent 2 more stars, resetting them to a 1-star team. Another doubloon, which they will spend, I'm sure. Then 2 more stars and a doubloon. Then 3 more stars, so that's 5 more stars, bringing them to 1 star again. Dean Cass, thank you for sending 2 doubloons. I'm sure the chat will spend them wisely. They're accruing quite a haul today. 100 stars. Thank you for sending sparkles to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I'm sure another glitter bomb cleanup is exactly what the chat wanted. Rebel Commander, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself some tea on your way past the commissary. It's not just a good story. Tell them it's just about money. Yes, obviously, if the Hollywood studios, who are pissing me off, I'm the original Dr. Sherman, were looking into SCP as a thing, yes, because it's Creative Commons, it would have to be shared around and allowed for remixing and reusing. But as Keter Labs has pointed out, you can't pirate a theatrical event. If you release the movie in theaters and it's good and people like it, it will make the money. The Backrooms just made the money. Obsession just made the money. And these are YouTube horror project creators who made actual movies in theaters. And since home releases are dead due to streaming, the theatrical release is what you're going to get no matter what movie you make. So make an SCP movie, put it in theaters, make your money back, and then yes, people will remix it and reuse it after the fact, but by then you've already got your bag, Hollywood. It's already set for you. It'll be fine. Attracted to 682, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a CT on your way past the commissary. Reminder on what SCPs are confirmed in the movie. There's a lot of them. So I would highly recommend going back to our long-form interview with the director for a long list. Aurum, thank you for sending 2 more doubloons to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. I am sure that they appreciate more spending cash. Then you sent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team, which brought them up to a 3-star team after it looped back around from 5. So, very good. You're on your way to 5-star team, chat. Keep up the good work. Intern Dr. Coconut, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a coconut cream pie on your way past the commissary. What would happen if you had both 217 and 610? Is that the clockwork virus and the flesh that hates again? A lot of people ask that. And essentially, they would just fight over the different parts of your body they got to first, and then get into a weird futz when they reach the center. So, I mean, you're dying either way. Aurum, thank you for sending 2 more stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. Congratulations, chat. You are now a 5-star team. 5-star ranking. Congratulations. You're the best of the best. For now. Dr. Sherman, if we reach the Kickstarter goal, you got to shave all your hairs. Deal? I mean, Hotel California, why would I do... Listen. There is 6 days left. Do I really want to put this energy in the universe? Would I trade my hair for the SCP movie? Because my hair is luxurious and great. It'd be a real shame. But you know what? I'm not doing it for the first Kickstarter goal. I'm doing it for the full Monty. I'm doing it for the full movie goal. So yes, if we go and get this done to the 750K goal, the full movie, then I'll shave my head. You have 6 days. And I will be so annoyed. I will hate it because I like my hair. I'm getting it dyed tomorrow. And so if you make me shave my hair 1 week after getting it dyed, I will be so mad. But if we hit the full movie goal, 750, 6 days. Essentially, this could happen if Markiplier sees my clip and decides to throw his weight behind the movie. I am signing my death warrant. I'm going to be very upset. I hate that this energy is back in the universe. I don't like it. 6 days. Doesn't the Kickstarter end on the 27th this month? No, it does not. It ends in 6 days. That is what the Kickstarter currently says. Intern Bradley, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a waffle cone on your way past the commissary. Could SCP-7 2 die? Oh, ugh. Make the tree scream. Intern Bradley, look at that abomination's documentation. It already has. Intern Dreamscape, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a Jello mold on your way past the commissary. Hi, all. I believe in you, Dr. Sherman. Well, I'm glad to hear you believe in me. There are many who believe in me. There are many who don't believe in me. It's rather strange. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again to say. Issue them as they won't make literally as much money. Well, here, like I said, they're not making very much money off the streaming on the back end compared to the big blockbuster movies right now. The money they make is on the front end, on the movie theater tickets. And an SCB movie would pull numbers in theaters. And so think about it. Backrooms, they invested what? $750,000, $1 million? They made 200 mil. That's a success. Obsession did the same thing. It was, I think Obsession was 750K and several $100 million. So that's where the profit is. That's where they make their money. It's not like they're making that much money off the rights on the back end these days anyways. Matt Damon or Ben Affleck, one of the two or both, does interviews about why there's no mid-level comedies anymore. And it's because those used to make their money on DVD Blu-ray sales. And since streaming came along, the sales of physical media have gone. So you can't make a mid-level movie because you can't make it back on the back end of DVD Blu-ray sales. So the movie theater going experience can still do the job. They just have to wrap their brains around that they can still make their money. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again to say, wait, if you're in the film, won't you need the hair? Well, Rebel Commander, it'll take a solid pre-production for the movie is going to take approximately the entirety of 2027. So that means that if I shave my hair, then I would be able to grow it back in time because this is not a year's worth of growth that bad. In fact, what would happen is we'd have to have the debate about whether I have colored hair in the movie or whether I have natural hair in the movie to be a little more professional. And if that were the case, then natural hair color, that would be fine, shaving it and then growing it back anyways. My friends worship you, Dr. Sherman. Intern Opal, I am not a deity of any source. That is, I am a strange person to worship. I just appreciate it if they follow General Foundation protocol and do their job successfully. A site director can have whatever color of hair they want. You are correct, Redfill Hawk, and that's why I set the dress code here, and that's why I do my hair and my outfits the way I choose. Hawaiian shirts are my dress code because I appreciate them and I'm in charge. But suffice it to say, just like the LGBTQIA fandom is supported by the SCP fandom, and that is a problem for the large amount of people who are stupid out there. There are a lot of people who will see a colored hair person, and the first thing they say in chat is, blue-haired liberal! And even though I would like to say we don't need their money, the more people you alienate in Hollywood, the less likely they are to make a movie. And so there is that consideration from investors if they are planning to back a movie. So these are the sacrifices we make to do what we got to do. Possibly. I don't have to like it. I might have said LGBTQIA fandom instead of community when I was also meaning to talk about the SCP fandom. By the way, Site 42 staff, while we are celebrating Pride Month, do not forget to check in on SCP Pride Fest. Still going on the SCP database. A daily feature of LGBTQIA themed SCP stories, whether they be articles or tales. There are still plenty of features. We have fallen behind because of the weekend and short streams and being busy, and because they're releasing a feature every day. And on top of that, we've been still trying to catch up with This Is My JamCon. The SCP fandom is writing too many things. My steak is too juicy. My lobster too buttery. My SCP fandom making too many good stories. And so make sure to keep up with Pride Fest if you want to enjoy that. And This Is My JamCon continue since we're actually doing a long stream. So, here is This Is My JamCon reading of the day. Now, for those who haven't been present, or for people who just are surprised, because we haven't done this in a couple days, This Is My JamCon was a contest on the SCP database a couple months ago, where SCP authors traded song recommendations and then wrote SCPs based on those songs. And so the contest is long over, but we are still reading through the articles. Today we are reading number 22 of 27. We are almost to the end. Woo! And as a side quest to this contest, I've been trying to guess what song the articles are based on. Now, I've been successful, I believe, 2 times. And it also happens to be the only 2 times where I knew the song. No, one of those times I didn't even know the song. I just guessed it was the title because the title seemed like a song title. So, yeah, they have not been giving me a lot of chances, but we're doing our best. Now, today's reading is an SCP tale called Marquee Moon by SCP author who is Cthulhu. Now, this one has a very interesting format. You see a lot of text, and here's some weird stuff going on. Text messages. I don't know who Eddie is, but we'll probably find out along the way. I'm going to take this in sections because it's very long. Now, this up here is pretty funny. The Poor Foundation, where the lights don't really work. This reminds me of back in my anime convention days. I had a friend group of mine that would cosplay a group they called the Recession X-Men. And the Recession X-Men were their X-Men cosplay group, except during the recession of 2008 when everyone was broke. So you had Charles Xavier being wheeled around in a shopping cart. You had Wolverine with butter knives taped to his hands. You had all sorts of just really broke-ass X-Men. It was very funny. And so that's what Poor Foundation reminds me of. And so I'm going to read this a little bit in sections. We're going to read a section, come back to chat for a bit. Read a section, come back to chat. This will be our JamCon reading of the day. Let me just make sure I haven't missed any Ko-Fis before I begin. Don't want to leave them hanging. Cleared. Okay. So, it starts with the profile image of Dr. Edward Thompson, AED SCP, Sportland, Echoes 0, Hums 0, April 4th, 2026, 8:15 p.m. Then it goes into prose. Eddie stood on the damp pavement outside the Three Portlands City Council. It had been raining when the Foundation delegation had arrived 3 days prior, and it was raining still. Get a job in STEM, he remembered hearing again and again. Your job security is all but guaranteed. And yet here he was, in a waterlogged saucer of a pocket universe. He and two other hapless researchers had been sent on behalf of their employers to facilitate a, quote, fundraising event. Begging. They were here to beg for pocket change from the very people they'd spent decades trying to keep out of sight. Eddie could hardly blame them for hesitating to open their wallets. But if nothing else, he was at least glad to have a break from the dull monotony of Site 32. Three Ports was certainly a welcome change of scenery, and it was nice to be someplace where not everybody was miserable. It's very funny, them having to beg for money. It's actually this exact same theme of SCP Containment Breach the movie, where whoever the site director the community chooses it to be, because we have a choice for who the site director of the site will be after they replace Shaw, their goal is to get funding for the Foundation to contain anomalies. So very funny that we are once again in the broke bitch universe of the Foundation. Doctors Hawkins and Mather were still inside, arguing with the city council about something. It would be a while before they needed him again, and it was only early afternoon, so he decided to explore a little. Besides, things had been so go, go, go since they came here. He'd hardly had a chance to meet the city on its terms. He wandered the streets for 10-15 minutes before finally ducking into a Shea tea shop. Braids of flowers and mushrooms adorned the entryway, their aromas immediately burrowing into his brain. Several tables were filled with groups of Shea, making daisy chains or whittling or writing any number of things. As soon as he stepped inside, the other patrons turned to look at him. He stopped, giving a quick nod, then awkwardly shuffled to a table in the corner. The patrons returned to their business. Eventually, a waiter made their way over. Is there something I can do for you, sir? Yes, I'd like to order if I could. The waiter furrowed their brow. You sure you're in the right place? I have money, if that's what you mean. We don't really... Money's not the problem. We don't brew this stuff for humans. Eddie nodded. Oh, can I try it anyway? The waiter paused, pondering, then shrugged their shoulders. Whatever. Just know we can't guarantee it'll go down smoothly. What can I get you? He ordered the cheapest drink on the menu, a blend of various fungi, some native to Earth and some not, steeped in river water and topped with moss from a dead king's grave. It arrived in short order, and as it did, the shop's denizens again turned to look at Eddie, waiting expectantly. Eddie sized up the cup and took a whiff. The smell was unbelievably potent, and he quickly started coughing into his jacket. The Shea patrons chuckled. Slightly embarrassed, Eddie swiftly took a large gulp of the concoction and swallowed it down. A few of the patrons quietly gasped, but most were silent. Eddie raised his eyebrows. Didn't expect that, did ya? And then everything was a blur. End of section 1. You'd think someone working for the Foundation would understand that you don't take food or drink from the Shea. How do they not teach that? Is this a tail? Yes, attracted to 682. This is, in fact, a tail for the contest. And at least by section 1, I have no idea what song this could be referring to. Marquee Moon does sound like a song title, so right now I'm locking that in as my guess, but that could change along the way. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again to say, not much don't matter to them, it's just less. Yeah, I know the Hollywood studios who are pissing me off want gobble, gobble, gobble as much money as they can. And by the way, speaking of Markiplier once again, you know what was cool? When Markiplier's movie made all that extra money, he arranged it budgetarily so that everybody who worked on the movie got a bonus. It's like, I paid you this much, but since the movie made X times more, I'm going to give you guys more money. Whereas the Obsession movie, there's a lot of controversy about how everyone worked really indie and cheap and non-union on that. And now that the movie's making all this money, it's not being given to the little guys. Kind of a dick move, if you know what I mean. I appreciate the Markiplier model. I appreciate the Dropout model. I am concocting a plan to go investigate the Dropout studios to learn how they do what they do. That way, we can have the SCP version of Dropout, a streaming service with SCP content creators who can get paid for their work better than YouTube, and then can afford to make SCP movies and things. Someone has to be the lightning rod of this community so that we can all work together and get crowd support. And if no one else is going to do it, then we Site 42 staff are going to spearhead the project. Philip November, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a corn dog on your way past the commissary. Been at Universal since Sunday on a vacation. It just sucks because I've been having headaches from the rise. Almost passed out and from getting woozy. I'm sorry to hear that. I, as a Florida man, used to basically live at Busch Gardens, Tampa, the Disney parks, the Universal parks. So I'm a bit of a roller coaster head. I'm sorry that they are not agreeing with your biology. Make sure to take care of yourself. Intern Calico, thank you for sending a flow state to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will lock in because they said so. These movie producers are pissing me off. I'm the original Dr. Sherman. You're damn right, researcher Transmographus. You're damn right. Dr. Sherman, I'm going on a field mission vacation to the Georgian Appalachians tomorrow. I'll be on the lookout for any knot deer while I'm up there. Wish me luck. Ooh. Good luck, shark nerd. Beware, remember, the number one rule of knot deer, don't acknowledge them. If you acknowledge them, it's already too late. Hey, can you capture Lucifer from Supernatural while he's possessing Sam? Well, intern Chris, they already did a pretty good job of locking that son of a bitch back in a cage, right? I mean, the blueprint is there. It already happened. So, yes. Hey, I'm trying to sign in on the wiki, but I haven't got an email yet. Intern Shadow Lad, does your email address have a number or from Hotmail? Wikidot is a archaic website, and if your email address has a digit in it, or if it's from Hotmail, then Wikidot just completely ignores it. It's a glitch. So, yeah, you might need to make a new email. The fact that Hollywood saw a 4chan post got extremely possible and decided to go to Reddit is so funny. You know, Charger? I can't say you're wrong. Leave it to Hollywood to learn the wrong lesson. Again. Holy shit, you sing? Awesome. Intern Basil, yes, sometimes I break into song. It happens. I made an SCP animation that talks about the SCP movie in the Kickstarter. Intern Anaculmos. Send it to my business email so I can share it and spread the word of the Kickstarter even further. Intern Wondertainment employee Reynolds, thank you for sending a doubloon and a single star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will spend that doubloon wisely now that they are a pitiful one-star chat. They might need some more stars to get back up to 5-star team. Maidenless Jess, thank you for sending sparkles to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. Yet another glitter bomb the chat has to clean up. I'm sure they are thrilled. Wondertainment employee, thank you for sending another star. You've at least brought them to a 2-star team. They are less sad now. Dr. Sherman, have you seen Jeffiet's SCP videos? He did wonderful readings. Yes, Jeffiet! Jeffiet is a good YouTuber covering SCPs. And a reminder, Jeffiet has a second channel just for SCP content now. So check out Jeffiet and his side channel for SCP stuff. SCP-72! Dynasty! Fuck you! Oh, why are you here? You should be in Dr. Hessen's office bothering them. Ugh. Don't worry, Dr. Sherman, I'm here. I'm all the headache you need. Yeah, apparently. What's Jeffiet's SCP channel? It's J and V SCP Archives. J and V, J ampersand V SCP Archives. When you get there, tell them Dr. Sherman sent you. Intern Kuro, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You made them a 3-star team. That's an improvement. The ranking is growing. And Glorb, thank you for sending a GG to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they'll have a good game at your urging. Desk, what do you want me to pin? The Site42 support link is already pinned. Or at least it's pinned to me. And I can replace the pin with your pin. Intern Reynolds, thank you for sending 3 more stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. Now, they are a 1-star team again. You went right past 5-star, back down to 1. Whoopsie-daisy. Ooh. All right, Site42 staff. We are going to return for a bit to the Marquee Moon tale. Let's see what happened after Eddie drank some tea from the Shay that he very clearly shouldn't have. A few scattered memories flashed in Eddie's mind, braiding the stems of foam flowers and bluebells and spurges, dancing with Shay and cyborgs and dear college undergrads. But most of the afternoon had left his mind, if it was ever there to begin with. He awoke back at his table, most of the other customers having left. It was much darker out than when he'd come in. And when he checked his phone, he had 7 missed calls from Dr. Mather. Panicked, he threw 2 $20 bills down on the table and sprinted for their hotel. Dr. Hawkins was waiting for him in the lobby. Sorry, my bad. Thompson, where have you been? What's wrong with your eyes? What? Eddie cocked his neck, then took out his phone and opened the front-facing camera. The whites of his eyes were not white at all, but in fact a swirling mix of blues, pinks, and purples, which gradually twisted and revealed new gradients underneath. Huh. He rubbed his eyes to no effect. That's odd. Yeah, I'll say. What were you doing for the last 5 hours? I was just trying to kill time. I went to a tea shop. You were supposed to wait for us, Thompson. It had already been like an hour. I decided to, explore a little. This isn't a vacation, man. It's our job. Come on, Mather wants to talk to you. Hawkins led Eddie up to their room where Dr. Mather sat at a table. There you are. He stood and approached Eddie. We were really worried about you. Wait, what's up with your eyes? Hawkins said you wanted to speak to me? Yeah, we got work to do. We're supposed to go around tonight putting posters up. Mather pointed to a stack of 50-some-odd posters sitting on the floor next to a tub of thumbtacks. All right, where are we going? We're not going anywhere, said Hawkins. You're putting these up. Got it? I think that's more than reasonable. Eddie moved to protest, but thought better of it. He sighed. Yeah, okay. Just anywhere? Any kind of business or community center that'll let you, instructed him Mather. And no more than 2 every block. Otherwise, have at it. And send us a picture each time you hang one up. No offense, but we need to make sure you get this done. After that, do what you will. Go exploring if you must. Just remember we got another meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. Fine. And sorry again for worrying you guys. I really didn't mean it. Eddie grabbed the posters and thumbtacks and made for the streets once again. Section complete. Returning to the chat. I love screaming trees. You know, Chris, intern Chris, that is a great name for a Foundation-sanctioned softball team, right up there with the hard-to-destroy reptiles and the staring statues. Huh. Should Site 42 softball team be named the Screaming Trees? I kind of like it. Get Eric, Toad King Studios, SCP Foundation's prominent merch maker, to make a Screaming Trees softball design. Poll! Poll! Okay, fine. Desk, I'll put up a poll. Should Site 42's softball team be called the, quote, Screaming Trees? Yes. Obviously, yes. Start poll. Intern Nolan, thank you for what I believe is your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some Pocky on your way past the commissary. What happens if we figure out an SCP is just from a random universe where that thing is normal? Like, it's that universe is human. What do we do? Completely hypothetical. Intern Anaculamos. Consider it like this. In the Pokemon universe, Pokemon are normal, natural. They are non-anomalous. But if a Pokemon ended up in our universe, it would be abnormal, anomalous. So that is the relationship. If it shows up here, we contain it. But if it's over there, it's normal, it's fine. SCP-106 is kind of hot. Listen, you and your octogenarian fetish need to remember that it is against protocol to fraternize with anomalies. I don't care how much you're into that sticky barbecue sauce vibe. No. Wait, Toad King Studios just appeared in the chat after we talked about the Screaming Trees Site 42 softball team? How did this happen? That is pretty efficient summoning. Very nice. So yes, Eric, as you can see by our poll here in the chat, it has been unanimously decided that the Site 42 softball team is the Screaming Trees. There was no discussion, there was no debate. Everyone knew this was the right answer immediately. Wait, bro, this Site 42 for real? Yes, intern Isabella, sorry. This is in fact Site 42. We are here. We are real. We are securing, containing, and protecting. Intern Mooney, I always tell you my favorite SCPs at the end of stream. It's kind of a tradition around these parts. Now, stream is going to go for another hour or two, but you can always donate to ask, and then I'll answer immediately in return for your generosity. Or you can or you can skip to the end of a previous stream to see the end of that. There's a lot of ways you can find out earlier. Intern Narat, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Rebel Commander, thank you for donating again to say. Something non-anomalous like black hole had certainly destroyed Earth would be allowed to stop it, even though normally stop anything non-anomalous. So, the SCP Foundation does its best to not interfere with natural phenomenon, but something world-ending like, say, the Earth was flying into the path of a black hole, we might avert that to maintain the normalcy of human civilization. You saw nothing. Bro, if I hug SCP-106, I will die. Yes. It secretes an acidic solution that makes its touch burn. You will die, yes. Clearly. I've been doing a lot of critique swaps in the SCP Discord. It's been a rewarding experience, and no spoilers, there's some amazing articles coming to the wiki. 369 Destroyer, critique swaps are a great way not just to get critique on your work, but to learn from other SCP authors, because they're going to critique your work and you'll learn from that, but also in analyzing their SCPs, you'll learn what they're doing, why, and how they could improve that, and that makes your writing better in the long run. It's a win-win. What are you wearing? Intern Imantas, this is my tie-dye lab coat. We're being festive for Pride Month. Blue Phantom, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a chili dog on your way past the commissary. I think SCP-999 is in your walls again. I can't find it. Well, at least the Minotaur can't harm SCP-999. It is, after all, slime, which, when you squish it, it's fine. Do you have any other festive lab coats, Dr. Sherman? Intern Kuro, unfortunately, no. I have Pride Month, I have tie-dye, I have my white lab coat, and I have my site director black lab coat. That's about all I got. But that doesn't mean we can't get more and have some more style going on. Can we learn some facts about SPC 2295, please? Intern Mooney, I only have tertiary access to the Shark Punching Center's database. I'm not even certain they have an item 2295. Shark Punching Center. The Shark Punching Center does not have an item 2295. Intern Miller, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a plate of tacos on your way past the commissary. Hello, Doctor. I've done some research and I've learned the island of Sodor itself is anomalous. It's the reason the Chinese are alive and sentient. What? Do we have ways to contain an entire island? What? What are you saying? You're worrying me, Intern Miller. It seems like, what do you? Is that racist? Intern Miller, I'm gonna need you to clarify this. That it's not racist somehow. That the island of Sodor is the reason the Chinese are alive and sentient. That sounds weirdly racist. Please elaborate in a manner that it's not a racism, please. I think he meant the trains on Sodor. Correct. Sodor is the island in Thomas. Engines. Thank fuck. I do not know what the island of Sodor was. I was very confused. Intern Miller, thank you so much for clarifying. Lolamau. Rafflecopter even. Woo! You gotta be real careful with the YouTube Super Chat keyboard. Because it is terrible at typos and it autocorrects the worst things. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. Oh my goodness, that keyboard's going ham. It's the reason the Chinese are alive and sentient. That's so fucked up. YouTube, why are you so racist? Okay, so we're talking about Thomas the Tank Engine. You are correct, intern Kuro. Getting Chinese from engines is absolutely diabolical. Okay, yes, yes, we did have to contain the island of Sodor. Not because it's racist, thankfully. But, well, there was that really racist Thomas the Train Engine book. The island of Sodor might still be racist. There was that one where they absolutely printed the N-word in the book. Because it was a different time. Hold on. Now I've got to go looking. Thomas the Tank Engine N-word book. So you need to, if you look up Thomas the Tank Engine N-word book, it goes to a Reddit page that shows the original version of the book Henry the Green Engine just had a casual use of the N-word in it. And due to YouTube TOS, I'm not going to say the reference, obviously, but you can Google search that and you can find it and learn what I have learned. If you didn't know, then now you know. They since apologized for it in the early 70s. So the book is earlier than the early 70s, and they were apologizing in the early 70s for it. Okay, returning to the chat. What a tangent we are having today. Intern Zoe, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Blue Phantom, thank you for donating again to say. I think the Minotaur and SCP-999 are friends. Also, how are the pets of interest in your desks today? Also, I caught someone saying they're part of the Anti-Memetics Division. There is no Anti-Memetics Division. You, Blue Phantom, summoned the puppy of interest. And now she is here for the requisite belly rubs. Puppy of interest 42, codename Charlie. Remember, you spell Charlie without an E. It is just an I at the end with a heart over it. Puppy of interest is adorable. The sweetest pumpkin at Site 42. Summoned because the chat's attention is her lifeblood. And other than that, yes, my day's going fine. Intern Hicks, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You have just made them a 4-star team. One step closer to a 5-star team. Employee Reynolds, thank you for sending a 100 to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will keep it 100 at your urging. Intern Miller, thank you for donating again to say. So yes, back to my question, how are we going to contain the entire island nation that turns steam locomotives sentient? Also, it was published in the 50s. Ah, yes, thank you for clarifying. So the answer is A, it's an island. So disinformation campaigns cause people to not know about the island. So yeah, we isolate it. We keep a force around the island so that people cannot go to and fro. And we have Foundation staff on the island to study the anomaly. It's actually quite easy since it's an isolated place. Sleepless Dragon, thank you for sending a 100 to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they will keep it even more 100 at your urging. And Zed Punisher, thank you for sending a star to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. You guys are now a 5-star chat. Intern Miller, you say it's visible from the coast of England? Yeah, but we can say anything about what it actually is. They're not actually going to see the trains from a distance, so it's fine. Intern Terry, thank you for sending a flow state to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am certain they will lock in, thanks to your urging. Speaking of locking in, why don't we return to the tale that we are reading, Marquee Moon, for the next section. So after being late to work because Eddie drank some Shea tea, Eddie is now going out on the streets to put up posters. Just over 3 hours later, it was done. Every bulletin board in a 3-mile radius had been adorned with an ad for their fundraiser, and he could finally relax a little. His last stop had been to the Deer College Library, and he decided to rest for a few minutes to figure out his plans for the evening. Posters of all sorts were plastered next to theirs. An orchestra concert at St. Lucy's, an Anderson Robotics showcase, an upcoming town hall, none of which sounded particularly compelling to Eddie. Until by chance another poster caught his eye. Bigger than the others, with a muted purple background. An 8-pointed gold star with half a comedy mask visible. A local production called Belmont Avenue. Live theater, he thought to himself. That's more like it. In a moment, he was settled. Okay, Eddie, I also am a live theater enjoyer. You got good taste. Also, trying an anomalous beverage at risk to your health. Not gonna lie, my Florida man try anything twice attitude would probably do that. So, Eddie and me are cool so far. A minute later, he was making his way to the venue, only barely questioning how he knew where it was without being told. Stepping over puddles, hurrying past teenagers and ghosts, he finally found it. An unassuming little place nestled between office buildings without a sign of any kind. He opened the door and walked over to the ticket counter, which did not appear to have anyone on the other side. After a moment, though, a composition notebook on the counter opened seemingly by itself, and a levitating pen began to write in its pages. Do you have a reservation? And then it returned to rest on the counter. No, I don't. But no one responded. After a moment, the pen levitated much more. Your response. And an underline to write it here. Oh. Eddie grabbed the pen and wrote it in the blank. No, this is my first time. He set it down and the pen came to life again. Welcome. We have a few seats remaining for tonight's performance. Tickets start at $5. Do you have rush tickets? No, we do not have rush tickets. It's $5. I work for the SCP Foundation. Do I get any sort of discount? Ha! Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Just then, Eddie grabbed the pen mid-sentence. Fine, $5 then. This time the pencil zipped up and rapidly responded. Do not ever do that again, you hear me, motherfucker? Would you want someone to grab your lips while you're talking? All right, I apologize. He fumbled around in his pocket, eventually finding 4 $1 bills, 3 quarters, and a dime. This is all I've got. Is this enough? Fine, whatever. Here. Just then, a purple slip of paper flew out of the ticket counter and fell on the floor beside Eddie. Thank you. He picked it up off the ground and wandered into the theater proper. It was a large black box space, with seats positioned on one side, leaving a long, narrow strip of stage running the length of one of the walls. Since his ticket didn't have a seat number, he found the nearest empty chair and took his place. The lights dimmed. The audience hushed. And that's where I will end this section before we go into the play. Returning to chat. Brian is wriggling again. You'd think something moving in your shoulder would be nice like a massage. No, it's not great. Intern Fun Mask, Intern Zoo. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Mm-hmm. 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 How did Brian get in there in the first place? I mean, I know parasites can live in sand, water, or dirt, but I can't imagine a worm getting to your shoulder of all places. Wish I knew, intern transmograph or researcher transmographus. I wish I knew and could prevent other people from getting parasitic centipedes in their shoulders. I don't know where it came from. Sometimes these things just happen. Stranger things have certainly happened here in the Foundation. Ace of Luck, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a flan on your way past the commissary. I have very important details about SCP-055 to discuss. First is, God damn it, I forgot again. Hold on. That's just going to keep happening. There is no ground there. Did you say you lived in Florida? I blame Florida. Well, intern Kuro, I was born in Florida, but I've since moved to California. That said, once a Florida man, always a Florida man. What would you do if you were talking with SCP-173, but he had SCP-096 face taped all over his body? Intern Moser, first, SCP-173 is an it, not a he. All anomalies in containment are treated as objects, not people. Please do not humanize the anomalies, and please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Secondly, why would you talk to SCP-173? It is a sculpture. It doesn't talk back. Third, I would demote to D class and throw them at the most dangerous anomaly I could, any idiot who did that tired-ass prank that we hear about every single stream. Please, be more original with your pranks. Idiots. I thought we were a foundation of clever people. Intern Pizza, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some garlic bread on your way past the commissary. Is SCP-049 still stealing the gender-switching stone? Also, if we placed a stone on SCP-173, what would happen? SCP-049 currently has a negotiated deal with the Foundation that, as long as it follows proper behavior protocols and serves on a mobile task force to help bring in errant anomalies, then it is allowed unfettered access to the gender-switching stone. So it does not have to steal the stone at this current time, but it still uses it, yes. Furthermore, SCP-173 does not have a gender. It is a concrete statue. It does not have biological functions. Therefore, it does not change biology when touched by the gender-switching stone. Is Dr. Sherman canon? Yes, intern Moser. Read the SCP-049 file. You will find me there. Ace of Luck, thank you for donating again to say. He, shit, they... Let's try that again. He, she, they, it. Whatever, just get in the box. Yes. Put the anomaly in the box. That's all I care about. A time check. We are currently 40 minutes to an hour and 40 minutes from today's end of stream. And let me take a quick moment to remind you that SCP Containment Breach, the movie, is still in its Kickstarter phase for 6 more days. Make sure to share it around. Everybody donate at least $1. That way, I will be in the movie, but only if it gets funded. So watch the live action short, enjoy it, boost its numbers, comment, share the Kickstarter around so we can get more funding so we can have an SCP movie in theaters. Will SCP-096 kill the old man if he's in the pocket dimension? Intern Asian, you are deliberately ignoring the proper pronoun protocols, I see, since you capitalized he's. I will assign you Keter duty if you keep acting insubordinate. Watch it. Furthermore, 106096, or sorry, no. 106 could disappear into its pocket dimension, and 096 would wait until it came out to attack it. But since 106 is fairly invulnerable, 096, much like 682, fighting with 096, it would eventually give up because it cannot damage 106. 106 is literally called the old man, but okay. Shark Nerd, do not test me. Yes, the anomalies get cute nicknames. That does not change them from being objects. We do not humanize the anomalies because then you might feel bad for them being in containment and you might set them free. They are objects, not people. I don't care if it's a shy guy. I do not care if it's an old man. They are its. Follow protocol or face the consequences. Do not get sassy with me. Sorry I missed it, but did something go weird with my Ko-Fi? I didn't see a notification. Let me double check. I see it here, Sleepless Dragon. Thank you for notifying me. Also, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as making the effort to go through the Ko-Fi, because as we all know, the Ko-Fi only takes 3% of your donation as a service charge, while as Super Chats from YouTube takes 30% of that. So we appreciate you making the effort to make your donation go further. And grab yourself a quesadilla on your way past the commissary. Can you tell us your favorite SCPs, but instead of the lightning round, you do them slowly enough we can understand them without having to slow down the video after the video is posted? Well, isn't that also the first round? Isn't it the same? I'm confused. Yes, I can tell you that my favorite SCPs are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on the last one, it's a rough read. And I can repeat at the same pace that they are 3999, 3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5320, 8980. Content warning on the last one, it's a rough read if you want. I can do that. You're welcome. You're welcome. Brian, chill out. Let's try this. We're gonna move to a standing position for bets. Wait, all right, so that's sitting position. What if I elevate from here? That goes taller. Good. All right, Dr. Chair, please step aside. We are in standing mode for bets. Returning to the chat. Brian, I missed something. Ah, yes, Sheeny. Brian with a Y is the parasitic centipede that is currently living within my shoulder, right above the collarbone, arcing into over my shoulder into my back. That's causing me extreme pain over the course of the last week. Of course, we can't take it out because then it would die and we can't study it. So I'm just stuck with a psychic parasitic centipede that is currently singing Zombie Jamboree into my brain. Why use Brian's name if you shouldn't humanize it? Because 682, lover, because it gets so much louder if I don't. And if you want me to be able to hear what you're saying, I need to make some concessions. Orange Cloud, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a milk shake on your way past the commissary. Dr. Cloud reporting for duty. Adjust new cybernetic arm. I've removed the heads of my droids and melted down their bodies. Can't be cloned with no bodies to clone. Keep the heads as memorabilia, though. Will the heads be able to be rebuilt into further specimens? Do we have to worry about this again? Sorry. Desk, let's not hide people asking if I am gay immediately, because there are plenty of LGBTQIA people who are wondering that because we're celebrating Pride Month. Let's just ban them if they have a problem with it, so to speak. But intern Laffy, we are celebrating Pride Month. The SCP community is an LGBTQIA friendly fandom, and I am the A in the LGBTQIA spectrum, asexual. Transmographist, thank you for donating again to say, Dr. Sherman, does Brian perchance respond to the name Nemesis? If so, you have acquired an immortal deity previously hosted by a serial slasher named Tomb. Are you some sort of nemesis? I mean, it says no. Ooh, Des got reprimanded? Intern Tambari, that wasn't a reprimand, that was just a request. A collaborative request and a slight tweaking of the direction of the ship. To be charitable. You can fucking talk to that thing? Well, intern Jeff, it can read my mind. It's transmitting psychic signals into my brain as we speak. Bro, are SCPs real? Intern Zoo. SCPs are not real. Every time someone asks if SCP is real, we completely drop kayfabe, and we say SCPs are not real. This is because in 2015, some kids thought Slender Man was real so hard that they stabbed their friend about it multiple times. It is not cool to cause people to stab people because they think a fictional story is real. So the SCP Foundation drops kayfabe when asked to say that no, it's just a fun, creative writing community and fandom. SCPs are not real. Please don't stab your friends. Sheeny, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a caramel apple empanada on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman got a whole go-old going. Oh, I mean, You know, at least we dodged the proper Goa'uld takeover portion. Pretty gross, actually. Not a fan. But, yeah, are you related to them at all? Not from outer space, huh? Primordial being of the Earth. Huh. Interesting. What is a Goa'uld, or however it's spelled? I'm out of loop on that one. Inter Memoria, you will find more on that in the documentary of the federal government's Stargate program, specifically the SG-1 edition. No, they were in the original documentation film as well. But in the Stargate Chronicles, the Goa'uld were a parasitic worm alien race that took over bodies, gave them super strength and all. I wish you gave me super strength at least. But they did take over your personality. They were also aliens that traveled planet to planet using humanity as slaves. They portrayed themselves as different gods. It was a whole thing. MacGyver was involved. It was pretty cool. Alright, that's working. I love your hair. I think I'm going to dye it a shade of teal like that. Well, intern Onyx, I am glad you enjoy it and have fun with your own hair dyeing fashion journey. All right, why don't we take a slight detour, people? Let's find out about the play that researcher Thompson is going to see in 3 Portlands. This is formatted like the script of a play. Interior, black box. A blue light illuminates the stage. Ryan stands at the center. Ryan is the first and only speaker. Sometimes when a place is gone, it's gone for good. But sometimes a gentle wind begins to blow. It lingers. It survives in the memories of its occupants. And when those memories get shared, it's passed down from generation to generation. Its survival is all but assured. The stage changes from wood to concrete, painted with road lines. Belmont Avenue runs north-south for around 8 miles. Today's performance will focus on a single block of that stretch. A block lost to time, to gentrification, to humanity's ceaseless desire to expand. This is my block, as I remember it. The walls of the black box wither away like rotting paper, revealing daylight and a city street running from both ends of the stage and stretching onward. Various people navigate the sidewalks, converse, and sit on their porches. Exterior, Belmont Avenue. This performance has no plot, no written dialogue. It is simply a snapshot of a time and place. I encourage you to rise from your seats, if able, and explore this place. See the sights, smell the smells, hear the sounds that made this place unforgettable. When you're finished, speak with me and you'll be returned to your seat as it was moments ago. Interesting. I like that as a concept of an anomalous theater performance. Incredibly immersive theater. Very fun. Returning to the chat since the play section is complete. Orange Cloud, thank you for donating again to say. The heads have been 115% drained of power, all of it, and have each been sealed in separate cases that need my thumbprint, eye scan, vocal pattern, and a 17-digit code just to unlock. I think we good. Be very careful, because now that all that information is out in the ether, people can start compiling that information. You might need a more secret containment proposal. The SCP story you're reading, Dr. Sherman, is still interesting, even the play part of it. Well, intern Hicks, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So far, I think it's a pretty straightforward story. I would like to see where it goes. I think we're about a third of the way through. And we are at the 90-minute mark of this stream, meaning we are 25 to 90 minutes from the end of stream, and I'm feeling pretty energetic today, so we can go a bit long. As long as Brian continues to cooperate. What's the name of the tale? Came in late. Intern Red, it is called Marquee Moon. And Marquee is, of course, like a theater sign, Marquee. Well, I just joined, so don't end the stream. Intern Roy, we are not planning on ending stream at this moment. Can I hug SCP-096 from the back? Intern Isabella, the odds of it turning around and you seeing its face are too high, so the answer is no. I like your hair, it's blue, you're going to keep it blue. Intern Chris, actually, I have had this coloration since April 1st, and I'm going to be changing it tomorrow, so you guys will get to see the new coloration. Marquee Moon, Marky Moo, gods dang it. Markiplier, why are you everywhere? That is very funny, Transmographus. I didn't put that together earlier. Is 049 still stealing SCP-113? So we already talked about how it is not still stealing it because we have an agreement with it. And if it does its goal change from curing us to getting mani-pedis with other SCPs or to go around just listening to pop music? When 049 is in its female form, it tends to do annoying TikTok dances in my office to irritate me, which is better than killing staff members and making them into zombies. So annoying, but not as bad. Wait, what? New colors dropping? What colors? Intermemori. You're going to find out tomorrow. I'm getting it done in the morning, so it'll be done before stream so you can see it fresh. At Site 42, what do you do to D classes after 30-day trial? Intern Jevel. I pick the particularly... I don't do the whole incinerating them. That's a little too wasteful to me. I typically amnesticize them and reuse them. I mean, it's getting harder and harder to find D class, so we've got to conserve what we have. Intern Pause. Thank you for sending sparkles to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I'm sure they'd love to clean up another glitter bomb. Horrifying question. Are you the only Sherman affected by O'Brien? Have we checked on the Sherm clones of Site 42? I have not looked into the universes where Site 42 is staffed entirely by Dr. Sherman clones. But I would find it very frustrating for anybody, me or otherwise, to have a parasitic centipede psychically linked with you. Have you ever thought of cloning D-Class? Well, in my universe, cloning technology is only so-so. I mean, we have SCP-2000, but that's a miracle of work that we have not quite fully understood. So it is not something we are able to do continually. All right. Let's take a quick moment to go back to researcher Thompson, see how he is faring after that immersive theater experience. Eddie stumbled out of the theater in a daze. He checked his phone. Not a single minute had passed since he took his seat, and yet surely he'd been in there for 5 or 6 hours at the very least. He had never seen anything like it, so delicately towing the line between performance and reality. In the back of his mind, he of course knew that it wasn't real, but when he put that aside, he felt completely entrenched, completely in another world. He had lived on that block. He had known the people who lived there with him, had laughed and cried and grown up with the place, and even now grieved that it was gone. Eddie had not been made to feel this way in a long, long time. He thought perhaps that that was just part of becoming an adult, putting these feelings of wonderment and astonishment away in exchange for certainty. Hell, that'd have been half the reason he joined the Foundation in the first place. And yet here he was, in a dimly lit lobby in the middle of a pocket universe, his heart beating out of his chest and tears in his eyes. He had forgotten what it was that drew him to the theater in the first place, but he was certain he would never forget again. But then he remembered the next morning's responsibilities, the meetings, the fundraiser, and his chest tightened. Was this the best he could hope for? A rare moment of beauty to break up the crushing monotony of the rest of his life? Was this really it? Oh, I hope not. I do hope that we can use art to brighten our lives more than just once in a blue moon, right? No, he couldn't stand for that. He'd locked away his true self before and it had gotten him absolutely nowhere. He'd done so much for other people, for the Foundation, for normalcy. It was his turn now. His heart now doing cartwheels, he walked back to the ticket counter. The book says, "You again?" Eddie waited for the pencil to come to rest this time, then he grabbed it. I wanted to know how I could get involved with this. Oh, in what way? In any way. Wait, didn't you say your Foundation? I don't think they're interested. Is there anyone else I can speak to about this? I'd love to help with the performances. On stage, backstage, anything. I'll pass a message along for you, but don't expect anything, okay? Fine. My name's Dr. Eddie Thompson. They can message me on Void at EdSCP. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. You too, Dr. Eddie. Eddie took a deep breath, calmed himself, and finally headed back to the hotel room. I'm going to tell you, that's how they get you, those theater kids. You go to one show, and all of a sudden, you are hooked. You want to work less. You want to go out to the theater. You want to hang out with the people. It's infectious. It gets you for life, man. Ask me how I know. Returning to chat before going on to the next section. All right, what's been happening over here? Intern Hacker, thank you for sending 25 stars to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. Since you sent a proper multiple of 5, they are still a 5-star ranked team. Congratulations, chat. You are still top of the line. Is SCP-999 also called the Candy Monster? Intern Febraro. No, it's called the Tickle Monster. Obviously. Is the parasite still playing songs in your mind, or has it given up? Brian has thankfully, for now, stopped singing. But now that you've reminded Brian, who knows what comes next? Oh no. Well, that's a flash from the past. Brian has figured out how to project visions into my eyes. At first, all I heard was the opening notes of Evanescence's Bring Me to Life. But now I am seeing a 280p Dragon Ball Z anime music video instead of my normal chat. Who the hell told the parasitic centipede that lives in my shoulder about early aughts Dragon Ball Z music videos? Since no one said that in this room, it must be that Brian has the ability to connect to minds outside of mine. This is getting more and more frustrating. Okay. I think. All right. I can kind of see through the AMV, the chat. At least it's not the hamster dance. Don't put that on me right now. I said nothing. How long do they want the movie to be? Intern Fishman, SCP Containment Breach, the movie, has plans to be a 90-page script. And in average script turns, each page films for about a minute. So a 90-page script would mean a 90-minute movie. Bro, I remember you from like 2023. You were my favorite guy to watch because I was getting into SCP stuff. Well, intern Invincible, welcome back. We have still been active. The algorithm takes and gives as it does, but the SCP Foundation is bigger and better than ever. Intern Moser, the SCP Containment Breach movie will release in theaters first, but then will be released on YouTube afterwards. That is the current plan. Do you think SCP-610 could destroy humanity if set free? Yes, obviously, Intern Roy. It would, very much like SCP When Day Breaks, turn everybody into flesh creatures. Would you be in the movie? Yes, Intern Moser. I have been offered a role in the film, but of course, the movie cannot be made without funding. So if it's not funded, then I can't be in it because there won't be a movie. So we need to share it around. We need to donate more so the movie can be made in the first place. I'm reading more articles. I've read all your favorites. Any of the new suggestions read like thrillers. Intern McMahon. I would go through the playlist of SCP readings on this channel, like the Sherm's Great Skip Dictations, because those articles, I found them interesting enough to read on the channel, so I enjoyed them. So you can take it as a word of thumbs up if I read it on the channel. Intern John, yes, this is my Pride Month celebrating lab coat. 'Tis the season after all. All right, let's take a quick look over at Marquee Moon again. Our researcher Eddie is getting a text message from a Vivian Chen. Vivian texts first. You the Foundation doctor who wanted to talk to us? Oh, are you at the theater company, Pseudogenesis? Yes, what do you want? I'm not completely at liberty to say. This device isn't totally private. But I wanted to ask you about possible opportunities at your theater. Opportunities? I'd love to get involved somehow. If not, I totally understand. When are you free the next day or so? That was very short, so I'm going to add the next section. Eddie sat alone at the table. The coffee shop wasn't quite packed, but it was pretty close. He picked at his fingernails and bit his lips as he waited. Eventually, the contact from the theater burst through the door, marched over to him, and plopped down in the other seat. Vivian, she extended her hand. He hesitated, but eventually reached his hand out and shook hers. Eddie. So what's this about? Eddie took a deep breath. I saw your show a couple of days ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. I want to do what you all do. Listen, there's plenty of community theater productions all over the place. Nothing has left this kind of impression on me. At least not in many, many years. It shook me to my core. It reminded me why I went down this path in the first place. Towards the Foundation? No, towards theater. I forgot just how actually powerful it can be. And I don't mean powerful as in emotionally moving. I mean powerful as in, like, has the power to change things. So why do you work at the Foundation then? Eddie paused, then sighed. Because it was supposed to be the safe choice. Because I was scared of living paycheck to paycheck and not eating enough and not being able to afford health care. Mood, Eddie. Mood. And the Foundation was billed to me as the solution to all those problems. Clearly, it hasn't exactly worked out that way. Right, but would you give a shit if it had? Would you be complaining right now if it actually was everything you were promised? Wages, benefits, all of it. Did you care about all that shit the Foundation does to people before the money stopped flowing? Eddie thought carefully as Vivian's gaze pierced into his very soul. No, I guess not. Or at least it wasn't enough to deter me. Listen, she said, leaning forward. I've met a lot of Foundation dirtbags in my day. What makes you different? Now Eddie stared down at the table. I don't know. Nothing, I guess. So what exactly do you hope to gain from this conversation? Eddie rubbed his eyes and took another deep breath, then met Vivian's gaze. Fine, I got duped, okay? I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to change people's lives for the better. And they swooped in and they convinced me that the best way to do that was to join up and protect people from these anomalous things. I mean, I've seen some of the shit that these things can do to people, and it's fucked up, all right? And some of these things, they wanted my help to contain because they had something to do with the theater. And I thought, hey, if I can use my expertise for good and protect people and make the theater a safer space to be, why wouldn't I? But that's not what happened. That version of the Foundation, the one that protects people, that locks away the monsters in the cursed plays, it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it never existed in the first place. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it's all just doing shit for the sake of doing it. All in the name of maintaining the veil. And they're so stringent now. They can't even do that effectively. So what the fuck is the point? It's not like everything I helped lock up was bad either. A lot of it was harmless. Some of it was even helpful. But either way, we gave each of them a number and an object class and put them in a box. Eddie paused, took a large sip of his water, and continued. I want to make the world a better place. I want to leave behind some sort of positive impact that isn't just locking up ghost lights with actual ghosts inside, or cursed sentient manuscripts. I want to inspire change, start a dialogue, something. I made a mistake, I know that now, and I want to try to correct it. Both were silent for some time. Vivian looked away for a moment, contemplating. Finally, she spoke. All right, we'll give you a chance to prove it. All right, I appreciate what Eddie had to say about the theater stuff. Love that for him. No. No, all that anti-Federation propaganda, ignore it, clean it from your brains. No, we do secure, contain, protect. It is the right thing to do. The things that go bump in the night should not be outside boxes. Now, Eddie is obviously going through something, and with a little re-education, Eddie will be fine. Do not fall for it. Intern Almont, thank you for sending a laughing disco to the containment hazard assessment team. I'm sure they had some comically sweet moves on the dance floor. Intern Eunice, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Is the train ticket thing still producing the giant eyeballs? And if so, how much hand sanitizer has been used? Intern Inoculabos. Very soon you will see a video update about that anomaly. As a time check, we are currently at the 2-hour mark of today's stream. I said we'd be streaming for 2 to 3 hours. And we are not done with the tale yet, so we will be going a little later. Intern Roy, my favorite mobile task force is obviously Mobile Task Force Psi 42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. You guys who helped me to get SCP movies made by sharing them around, spreading the word. And, of course, you're the best hot dog eating contest champions of Site 42. Or the Full Foundation. You're saying my name wrong. It's the old name of Percy Jackson. Sorry, and it's pronounced Anaklumos. I am unfamiliar with the Percy Jackson series, but, well, I've heard of it, but I've never consumed it. But, sure. Anaklumos. Intern Hicks, thank you for sending a GG to the Containment Hazard Assessment team. I am sure they will be having good games that you're urging. You look like you live in Florida. Well, Intern Kiapi, I was born in Florida. I don't live there anymore, but once a Florida man, always a Florida man. Intern Sonic, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. We have a hot dog eating contest at the Foundation. Of course we do, Intern Memori. In fact, what we haven't done in a while is ranking SCP Foundation mobile task forces is how good they'd be in the hot dog eating contests. We gotta do another one of those streams soon. There's a short film / movie by Ultivision called Red Window, if I'm remembering correctly. It's fully funded too, so I'm excited for it. Indeed, Kelly, Red Window has very quick backing because they've got a track record with Overlord, Dollhouse, and all them. What is it? Ultivision, right? They're the new company of Evan Royalty. And so the big deal for me is that I hope SCP Containment Breach the movie, which is a little newer of a group, can catch up on the funding because they are having a bit of a trouble. SCP Containment Breach the movie in theaters. It could be done, but we just need to get together and help it. Do you think SCP-343 is actually God? No, intern Roy. SCP-343 is a reality bender with delusions of grandeur. It is a fraud, not God. A librarian I talked to a lot checked out SCP because how much I talk about it. Thing is, I never warned them or told them that's an adult community. At least I don't remember warning them. Well, intern Freud, the librarian you're talking about is probably an adult, so that's a good starting point. And B, I mean, what you're dealing with then is the likelihood of them landing on extreme gore or sexual content right out the gate is short. Probably if they looked it up, they would find the classic standards like 096173. So they would find out they're horror monsters, but nothing too bad. Fingers crossed. What is the most anomalous state through the decades? Intern Anaclumus. So, besides Florida's anomalous status and the Florida man things going on there, besides Ohio, which has all sorts of weirdness happening, I would say the most anomalous state is the one that is canonically anomalous. That would be Massachusetts, which doesn't exist. SCP-4006, the state of Massachusetts, just doesn't exist. If you think you live in Massachusetts, you're wrong. You actually live on the outskirts of the surrounding states, but no one lives in Massachusetts because the state does not exist. Hashtag Massachusetts. I'm not part of the SCP Foundation. I found this on my feed. Intern Dragonfire, that's where you're incorrect. It's probably because you've undergone some amnestic treatment, probably saw something really horrifying. I don't envy you, but you've just forgotten that you're an SCP Foundation staff member. You see, this broadcast only goes to registered SCP Foundation staff members. We have a deal with YouTube's parent company, Google's parent company, Alphabet. Uh, Quid pro some anomalous work here and there between the two of us. But this only broadcasts to SCP Foundation staff members, so you might not remember, but you do work for us. We would never reveal the anomalous to the general public, of course. And yes, as the moderator Des says, if you have any questions about the SCP Foundation since you've been recently amnesticized, I'm happy to answer them on your behalf. That is what these are about, these briefings. What happens when you're blind and put in a room with 173? You die. Unless you're in a broken masquerade timeline, perhaps. Well, of course, intern Nilono. If you are in a broken masquerade timeline, then you do know about the Foundation, and this is the PR that you are being told about. Have we figured out where the socks disappear to in the washing machine, or is that an anomaly in itself? We do have an SCP about the missing sock dimension. It's a whole thing. That anomaly is SCP missing sock. No. SCP-334-J is the Lost Sock Room, but that's a joke SCP. We actually have a legitimate SCP about that too, but I can't seem to find it. It was a newer SCP. It was a contest entry. Uh, 9195. SCP-9195 is the missing sock dimension. Well, it's the missing item dimension, but a lot of that is socks. SCP-9195 is what you're looking at. 9195. Oh, you're still live. Yes, Intern Jeppy, we are not done with the tale we were reading, so we are still onward for a little bit longer. Intern Burner, Skittle Shits has daddy issues. Intern Burner, that's a really dumb sentence for babies. Have you tried writing smart sentence for cool people? Tie-dye is cool, and my dad is pretty cool as well. There are no issues there. But you are just a rude child, so I'm just taking the initiative to ban you myself. I am uninterested in your vulgar idiocy. Begone, long one. Intern Grunk Dance, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a popsicle on your way past the commissary. Surprise anyway, bye. Well, thank you for your generosity, and hi bye. Sorry, desk, when they reach a certain volatility, I want them gone as fast as possible. There's a joy to watching you play with your toys, but that one was just a little too vulgar for my taste. Let's head back to the Marquee Moon and see what Dr. Thompson is doing with this whole play. So, Thompson has met with Vivian from the theater troupe. Let's see what we get. A day later, Eddie retrieved a parcel from the hotel lobby left for him by Vivian. Opening it, he found a 3-ring binder, inside of which was bound a script for a short play entitled Disposable by Porter Feeney. Taking it to a nearby library, he began to read it. Interior black box. The stage is full dark before a spotlight illuminates Porter standing at the center dressed in plain clothes. Porter speaks. As a test subject of the SCP Foundation, there are 2 ways you leave. The stage becomes concrete. The whole stage is bathed in harsh, sterile light. You escape during a breach or transport or any number of random opportunities, or you die. The smell of rotting meat becomes evident. Muffled gunshots ring out. A number of my fellow inmates, in attempting the former, fell victim to the latter. The guards like to make examples of them. The faces of dead prisoners momentarily flash in place of porters. They like to remind us that we signed up, that if it weren't for them, we'd still be on death row, as though that was supposed to make us grateful, as though they wouldn't just as soon give us lethal injection if it meant they could test a hypothesis. The wall behind Porter becomes a floor-to-ceiling window, with a concrete statue on the other side facing away. Myself and two others were assigned to cleanup duty. We had to mop up the shit that 173 dumped on the floor every day. We had to keep our eyes on it. They never told us why, but we found out soon enough. The lights momentarily flicker on and off, and the concrete statue is now facing the window. A power outage. It was far enough away that it couldn't get to me. Turner wasn't so lucky. When the lights came on, I saw him. His head was facing the wrong fucking way. The window changes into a black box wall. The smell of burning meat is evident. They replaced Turner and we were back to clean the very next day. No funeral, no grieving, no phone call to his family. They threw his body in the furnace and reassigned his number to someone else. It was like that for 3 years. Moving on. Eddie found Vivian at the same coffee shop they'd met 2 days prior. He took his seat and dropped the script on the table. "You're back," said Vivian. "Did you read it?" Eddie nodded. "And?" "Well, technically speaking, Foundation Poly dictates that I'm supposed to report if I found out information about Escape D-Class." Vivian's eyes widened. "Uh-huh. But also, technically speaking, I should have reported Belmont Avenue in the first place. And technically speaking, I should be detaining you right now. So I guess technically speaking, I don't really give a shit." Vivian relaxed slightly. "Well, what did you think of the play?" Eddie rubbed his eyes. "I guess I'd never seen it laid so bare before. You hear all sorts of whispers about the shit the D-Class are put through, but unless you're directly observing those sorts of experiments or handling maintenance, you have no reason to actually see it. Hell, I'd wager 90% of the Foundation has no idea." Then Eddie paused and furrowed his brow. "No, that's not entirely true. If you wanted to find out, you could. Probably wouldn't really be that difficult either. I just think most of us don't want to find out. Makes everything a lot simpler, not knowing." Vivian nodded. "Sounds like it made an impression then." "Undoubtedly." "Well, if you'd like, we've been experimenting a bit with our tech, and I'd be happy to have you run sound." Eddie tilted his head. "Really?" "Yes. What exactly does running sound look like?" "Oh, you'll be operating a board. It's just not your usual Yamaha. The sounds are being generated in the audience's heads." Sure, of course they are. So I'm making sure that the sounds get generated at the right times?" "You got it." Eddie tapped the script. "And this is the play?" "Yes." He met her gaze and gave a firm nod. "Let's do it." This is enough for one more section, so we'll go back to chat now. All right. Back to the chat. What would happen if SCP-049 was put into the Infinite IKEA? Intern action figure wrestling. Clearly, the same thing would happen to anything else we put in the Infinite IKEA. It gets lost, which is bad for containment. So we're not doing that. Brian, you need to chill the hell out. I'm almost done. Intern McLean. If you look at a picture of the Shy Guy from the Infinite IKEA, then it will find the door and it will find you and you will die. It can sense where you are. It will find you. We hear these questions all the time. Please think of more interesting questions. You have the site director of an SCP Foundation site giving you a briefing. Please be creative. Intern Mason. You cannot see Shy Guy's face in a dream, unless you have seen it previously, in which case you would be dead. Your brain cannot see faces it has never seen before because that would be producing new memories. What your brain does is it combines faces that you've seen in the past and makes those in your dream. So unless you've seen Shy Guy's face, it can't appear in your dream. That's how dreams work. 6 days left on the Kickstarter. Seems the new funding ideas are in order. Heard their Discord on Patreon might be the next option. You are correct, Skyro. They are looking at different investors and Patreon and things like that to fund. Patreon for a movie is a pretty hard sell, but hopefully they can find something. Okay, quick rundown. Here we go. What if you look at 096's face in another universe? If it can get to the universe, it kills you. If it can't get to the universe, you're safe. But if a door opens, 096 will find you. What if you could see faces in your dreams? Then what would Shy Guy do? If Shy Guy's face is in your head, you die. So if you can dream 096's face, you die. If Shy Guy touched 049, 049's touch disables biological processes. 049 died, or 096 dies. Because even if 049 saw 096's face, as soon as 096 first struck 049, 096 would die instantly. What if Shy Guy turned to his human original form? Would he still be trying to kill everyone? Intern Tay, what do you mean original human form? We don't know 096's origin. There's a couple made up origins on Content Farm animation channels, but those are just fan fiction. They're not canon. Action figure wrestling. We already talked about taping 096's face on 173. This is the most basic prank that's ever been done. Everybody says this. Ya basic. That's what happens. Ya basic and you're demoted to D class. All right, let's finish the tale. Let's finish the tale. So from the program of the anomalous play, we have Meet the Crew. Eddie Thompson, assistant sound technician. This is Eddie's first production with Pseudogenesis. He is responsible for executing the various sounds throughout the show. He would like to thank Doctors Dominic Bell and Teresa Ingram for their support. Dr. Mather sat in their hotel room holding up the flyer at Eddie. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Eddie glanced at him with a forced smile. I'm putting myself back out there, getting involved in the art community. You know the higher-ups are going to be furious if they find out. The smile faded. Yeah? What are they going to do? Fire me? Or replace me with who? Dr. Mather paused, then snickered. I mean it, Thompson. You're aiding the dissemination of extremely classified information. This is the kind of shit that gets people terminated. Gets people terminated or got people terminated? I don't follow. Dr. Hawkins sat up. He doesn't think the Foundation has the means anymore. Can't say I disagree. Mather sighed in disbelief. So what's the plan then? Do this, then get back to your desk job? I mean, have you really thought this through? Eddie searched for the right words. Finally, he took a deep breath. No, I haven't. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I've been doing shit on a schedule for a long time. I'm done. I want to live a little. I want to help make something that actually fucking matters. So what? The work we do at the foundation doesn't matter? That's not what I said, Mather. But it's what you meant, isn't it? You think we're all just stupid or wasting our time. And you, the enlightened one, are the only one who realizes it. Hawkins stood from her bed. Mather, come on. No, Hawkins, I want to make sure I'm understanding right. Do you or do you not think we're wasting our time? Yes! Eddie was surprised at the volume of his own voice and took another breath. Okay, I think you're both brilliant, you understand me? You don't get hired at a place like that without being brilliant. But the foundation is stifling all of our potential. Every single one of us. Everything has to fit into nice, orderly boxes. Literally and figuratively. Everything is either normal or it's not. But we all know it's not that simple. It never was. I mean, fuck. We've been in 3 Portlands for over a week now. How can anyone look at the vibrancy of this place and still think it should all just be locked away? I can't reconcile that. Maybe I used to be able to, but I can't anymore. Eddie sighed. I don't think either of you are bad people, all right? I'd even say you're excellent. But I think you could be even more excellent somewhere else. SCP is not making us better. A silence filled the room. Eventually, Eddie grabbed his bag. I gotta go. It's final dress. Goodbye. And then he turned and left. SCP is making us better. Do not listen to Eddie. Eddie is having a crisis. Eddie is having a crisis. Don't. SCP is good. We work for the Foundation. We are loyal to the Foundation. Next scene. Gunshot. Gunshot. Scraping. Alarm. Gunshot. Opening night, Eddie was running the cues in his head. It had been well over a decade since he'd sat in a sound booth. He wanted to make sure he didn't have any catastrophic fuck-ups. 5 minutes before places, Vivian stopped by the sound booth. You ready? Eddie breathed deeply. Yeah, I think so. All right, break a leg, Eddie. You're going to do great. She extended a hand. Thanks. He gave her a high five. Same to you. And as she walked away, he returned to mentally running through the show. And then, just before the show began, Eddie was caught completely off guard. He momentarily glanced at the audience below and could have sworn he saw a familiar face sitting just beside the door. It couldn't have been Dr. Hawkins, could it? But just then, Stephanie called places and the focus was back on the show once again as the lights dimmed. Final scene. Opening night was done. The house lights rose and Eddie breathed a deep sigh of relief. He went backstage and Vivian attacked him with a hug. You fucking did that, Eddie! He returned the hug. Thank you so much for taking a chance on me. Really glad we did. You're fucking great. Now go celebrate. We got hors d'oeuvres in the lobby. Eddie nodded and made his way back to front of house. A massive charcuterie board was laid out for all in attendance, and he eagerly grabbed a cracker and scooped some brie. As he took a bite, someone tapped on his shoulder. He turned to see, indeed, Dr. Hawkins had come to the show. Oh my God! Eddie reached out for a hug, which she reciprocated. Hi, I wasn't... I know. She smiled proudly. It was really good. And I never even noticed the sound, which I think is a good thing. Eddie laughed. Yeah, I'll take that. Thanks for coming out. Of course. And hey, don't take what Mathis said to you too seriously, okay? I think he's just a little afraid of change is all. And I have a feeling he'll come around eventually. And what about you? I don't know. I got a lot to think about. But I don't think my future's with the Foundation either. What do you mean, either? I never said, sure you didn't. Anyway, once we're done in Portland, I'm going to have to reevaluate. Speaking of which, tomorrow's the big day, so don't stay out too late with your new theater friends, all right? Not making the same mistake again, I promise. Good. Then congrats again, Thompson. They hugged one more time and Dr. Hawkins departed. Eddie pondered. Maybe she's right. Maybe I am quitting after all. But he decided not to dwell on it for the time being. Tonight, it was time to celebrate. Well, theater is a drug. Uh, People are worried about the loneliness epidemic in current America. Find a theater group. Even if you join the crew, so you don't have to be on stage. Tech crew is the lifeblood of theater. Props, sound, lights, or be an actor, be a choreographer. Theater is amazing for togetherness and building it. And yes, sometimes it brainwashes you into quitting your job at the foundation. Don't let it do that to you. But you can enjoy the arts. Obviously, the foundation has a theater department. Eddie's a part of it. Now, I guess Marquee Moon is what I'm locking in for the title. Let's see what the discussion says. I was given the song Marquee Moon! I got another song right! Woo! Another song. I did it. I'm right. Oh yeah. I don't know that song. I was just guessing at random and I was right. Yeah, I was right. Hell yeah. All right, return to the chat. Oh, I gotta give Marquee Moon my upvote. Not for being disloyal to the foundation, but for being theater person bait. It was good at that. All right, Site 42 staff, we are currently at 2.5 hours, and Brian is barking at me to stop. So I'm going to take 3 minutes more questions and then call it an end. It's a good long stream, but Brian's barking at me. I wish SCPs are real. Intern Quinn, that would be a very dangerous world to live in. We already live in a very dangerous world. I do not want that kind of chaos on the higher pataphysical levels. That would not be fun. Enjoy normalcy. I was lead as Jamie Escalante in Stand and Deliver once. I love theater. Hurrah, Memori! Good work, good work. I have been, besides the independent shows which don't count, if I'm counting community theater, I was one of the background jets in West Side Story. I was Joseph in Technicolor Dreamcoat. And I was the Steve character in School Rock House Junior Live. Intern Tay, I'm going to ask you the answer to this question you're asking. Of all the different answers I've given to the 096 question today, what if an intangible or astral entity views its face? What do you think happens, Intern Tay? Because I've answered a lot of these, and I think I've given you a pretty good idea of how to solve this problem on your own. Part of my job in education is to get you to solve problems on your own. So I want you to tell me what you think 096 would do if an intangible or astral entity looked at its face. I'll be waiting for your answer, Intern Tay. Intern Nikki Knackle, Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie, is doing quite well. She has visited us twice today's stream. Adorable both times. Who is the chillest SCP? Well, intern Quintero, I'm sure it would be one of the many ice anomalies we have. Maybe the red ice? Intern Quintero, we've already tested 096 versus 682. 096 cannot damage 682 enough to destroy it. And then it got sad after 27 hours and it stopped fighting. Are you nervous of Brian possibly fusing with your circulatory system? Yes, that could in fact be a frustrating thing to happen, and I would not appreciate if Brian were to have that sort of interconnectivity with my bodily functions. Amber, thank you for sending a floating heart to the containment hazard assessment team. I'm sure they feel the love. How do you survive the stairs anomaly? I forgot his name. Intern Soundwave, why are you gendering a set of stairs? SCP-087 is stairs. Stairs don't have gender. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols. All anomalies are its, but especially stairs. Come on now. Furthermore, don't go down the stairs. That's how you survive. Duh. I guess intern Tay was not able to figure out the answer to the question they posed. I am very sad that my ability to educate is so poor that my students cannot put one and one together to make two. I will have to study better in the teaching minds to learn how to better educate you to critically think so you do not ask me such simple questions that you could answer on your own. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So, Site 42 staff, that brings us to the end of today's stream. And as I do at the end of every stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. But I'm not going to tell you the SCPs I wrote are my favorites. That would be cheating. But if you want to read the SCPs I wrote, you can go to the Sherm's author page in Site 42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can read the SCPs I wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects too. And while you're on my author page, one tab over, you'll find a list of links. Links that people are often curious about, but then they just don't make the effort to go find the links. I tell them the links are there, but they don't go. It's so sad for them. And yet, you guys in the chat, I'm sure you're smart enough to find those links. I believe in you. And when you do, you'll have the option to become a Patreon patron or YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly. You can do a Ko-Fi or a YouTube Super Chat and donate to us one at a time. Either way, direct donations are the best way to help keep Site 42 awake for myself as well as the rest of the Site 42 staff, so we appreciate your generosity. And if you are part of the broke gang and you cannot donate, do not fret, because we can still appreciate when you are a member of Mobile Task Force Psi 42 coding the Signal Boosters. When you like, share, subscribe, comment, chat, make memes, jokes, shit posts, clips, edits of us here at Site 42 and the SCP projects we support, like SCP Containment Breach the Movie, like SCP authors and artists on the SCP Wiki, like SCP filmmakers, animators, game devs, podcasters, merch makers. You are helping to spread us through engagement, which gets us more views, which gets us more interaction, which gets us more people who might have money finding us. And that is how we all work together to get bigger and better SCP projects in the future. So I thank you for your service, Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs for no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043, we just do faster than 575, content warning on the last one, it's a rough read. Site-42 staff, this has been another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. I had a dream I was moving forward, floating gently to the sun. I've come to see my world rewarded. A new day has begun. A lost bird caught in mid-migration, far away to a foreign land. Offspring of a secret nation, a new day has begun. And I can see the earth below me, and I can feel it turn, feel it turn, feel it turn, feel it turn. The credit song is Feel It Turn by Great Big Sea. Be safe, be well, Site-42 staff, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream.